Johnny Murray here, and today we're going to be talking about Dynasty Warriors Origins. Now, this is a game I have yet to talk about on the channel in its own separate video, mentioned in podcasts, and then obviously we've reacted to a bunch of things through State of Plays and all that. But this is a game that I've had my eye on for a while, and my interest has grown for it. It keeps growing, honestly. Every time I see it, it keeps getting higher and higher on my most anticipated list. And that's because I just think it looks super duper fun. Now, I'm familiar with the Dynasty Warriors franchise. However, I couldn't really tell you a lot about it. Like, I remember playing one or two in like some older generations. All I know is it's been a little while. But I know what it's about, and I know like how the game works and like the genre that it is. But I can't tell you anything about like characters or like certain like combat systems that are in place. I could just tell you what you're actually doing, and that is what this game is trying to sell you on, and that is epic, huge scaled war with massive enemies with a hack and slash combat system. And honestly, that's all I need to know. I'm sold. But we're going to talk about Dynasty Warriors Origins. And yeah, if you guys love video games, it doesn't matter what you love. Xbox, PlayStation, Nintendo, third-party, PC, VR, indie, whatever it may be. Consider subscribing, sharing with your friends. I really do appreciate any support you guys give me, especially the support on this video right here. But nonetheless, let's get talking about Dynasty Warriors Origins. Now, we've seen this game multiple times. It was originally announced, I think, during the January or February, I don't remember what month it was in, State of Play. Early on this year, we saw the announcement for it. And I remember seeing it and was like, yo, honestly, looks pretty cool. Like, I could see myself playing this. I could see myself enjoying this. I'm glad we're getting another one of this franchise because, from my knowledge, it's been a while. It's been a little while since we've gotten one. And everything they've shown really does seem like this could be a really good entry to get more people, I don't want to say involved, but more people just knowing what this franchise is and knowing what this franchise is capable of. Because with games like this, I mean, we've obviously seen success over on the Nintendo side with Hyrule Warriors, with Fire Emblem Warriors. You know, we've seen games like that on the Nintendo system, but no big franchise stands out to me on the Xbox or PlayStation of that same caliber or genre. And I feel like Dynasty Warriors could be that. Now, obviously, this is a game where you're going to have epic, massive scaled wars where you are just going in there and slashing hundreds of enemies at a time. There is going to be insane amount of arrows flying everywhere. There's going to be catapults. There's going to be enemies left and right. You're going to have swords going crazy. You're going to have all their weapons. You're going to be riding your horse straight into the heat of battle. There's going to be a lot. This game is going to be chaotic. This game is going to be awesome. This game is going to be fast paced, and I'm all for it. I'm all for games just having fun. No game ever has to have the deepest of stories to be fun. A game doesn't have to have the deepest of gameplay systems. It needs to be at least engaging, and it needs to be, you know, well thought out, but it doesn't need to have the most insane systems in place. It doesn't need to be visually the most stunning game ever. It just sometimes needs to be fun. And I think a lot of games, sometimes developers, sometimes lose sight of that, as well as I think a lot of just gamers and players lose sight of that. Everybody expects these 90 plus games on Metacritic. First of all, Metacritic scores shouldn't matter in the first place, but B, if you do care about Metacritic scores, not everything has to be 90 plus. Anything 80 plus is great in my opinion. And so, to me, this game, I feel like, is going to do exactly what it needs to be. I think it's just going to be a fun game, and I'm all for it. I do think that there is opportunity for this game to surprise a lot of people with its visuals, seeming that it is the first of the genre on the PS5 and Xbox Series X in this current generation. So how can the technology push that? I think that'll be a really interesting thing that we'll kind of have to wait and see how it performs and how they do it. But I also think, more importantly for this entry specifically, I think this game has a huge opportunity to surprise us with its story. And It's kind of interesting that I'm doing this because I'm recording these two videos I'm about to talk about on the same day. I'm recording this video, obviously, about Dynasty Warriors Origins, and I just recorded my video for Monster Hunter Wilds, which is definitely up by now at the time of watching this one, so make sure you go check that one out. But I feel like I said the same thing in the Monster Hunter Wilds video, and that was, I think this is a franchise where everybody knows its gameplay, everybody knows what you're in for, its concept, but it's always just a story in the background to make sense of what's going on. It's nothing that's going to make you question life. It's nothing that's going to make you fall in love with these characters. It's nothing that's going to make you cry. It's just going to be something that you're like, oh, that's cool. All right, I know why I'm doing this. Let's go do it. I'm ready now. Whereas now with Monster Hunter Wilds, I feel like they are kind of putting a bigger emphasis on it, and I feel like they should. This is the chance for them to come out and be like, yo, we can actually have a great story that you get attached to. And I think that's the same thing with Dynasty Warriors. You know, you have the insane, over-the-top, chaotic, let's just cause chaos and have fun type thing. But what if people go in there with just that mindset, and you end up giving them actually a really engaging, interesting story? And I think this is more interesting with this game specifically because it does have that title, Origins. Obviously, Origins can be taken in a lot of ways. It could be like roots of families. It could be, you know, I don't know, just other things. But like, Origin most notoriously is known for the start, you know, how it came to be, when it was born, you know, how it was born, stuff like that. I always think those kind of things are interesting. I always think prequels are just very interesting in general. And I feel like with such an just interesting genre that's not really explored all that much, I think you could do something kind of interesting here. And we'll kind of just have to wait and see how they execute on that. But I do think that there is potential and there is room to grow in that department, being the story. But nonetheless, you know, this is a game I'm sure is going to have a lot of content. I'm sure it is going to have some super fun gameplay like we've already stated. I'm sure the visuals are going to be at least good looking. It doesn't have to be the greatest looking game in the world. Same thing as Monster Hunter Wilds. Honestly, these two games are very similar. I'm finding out right now. But this game is, I do believe, being published by, correct me if I'm wrong, Koei Tecmo, I do believe. I could be wrong by that, so sorry if I am. But I do know that the publisher is well known for these types of games, or at least they've also worked on things like the Dynasty Warriors games not Dynasty Warriors, the Hyrule Warriors games, and the Fire Emblem Warriors games, and they know what they're doing when it comes to the genre. It's always a fun genre. I don't think that's ever in question. This genre is fun and it has its community, but how can we expand upon that? I think that is the question that we're going to be going into this game with, and I personally just hope they exceed because I think the game looks great, and I hope the best for it. I would love to see more of these types of games in the future, but we're just going to have to wait and see. But that's really all I have to talk about for Dynasty Warriors Origins. Just kind of wanted to get my thought out there and just explain, you know, where we're at with this game leading up to its release. And it did get a release date for February. I don't remember the exact day. I want to say it was like earlier in the month, but I could be wrong. Maybe in the teens. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. If you enjoyed, definitely leave a like in the comment section I'm provided right now. What is your hype level for Dynasty Warriors Origins? I would love to know. But that's going to do it for me. Johnny Morales. Peace.